Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk about proof of work coins versus proof of stake coins because you're going to see that a lot. And I do believe that proof of stake coins will be the future of cryptocurrency for a number of reasons. So I want to give a couple examples of the different coins, and then I want to talk about some of the pros and cons and of proof of work and proof of stake coins. So first of all, we have a couple of proof of work coins, which is Bitcoin and Litecoin. So these coins are mineable. So proof of work is essentially when you're mining a coin, your hardware is running complex mathematical algorithms, and when it is complete, it submits that. If you were the first one to submit that completed algorithm, then you gain the coins and you gain the reward for that. Most people, of course, nowadays mine in pools because it's virtually impossible to mine and successfully submit a share before everybody else does. So everybody just mines in pools, and that's why you get little bits of coins when you're mining. So Bitcoin and Litecoin are proof of work coins. Let's talk about a couple proof of stake coins. So what is proof of stake? First of all, proof of stake is essentially a savings account. It's a way of developing new coins without actually having to go through the mining process. And that has a lot of advantages. And it's really a clever way of creating new coins, in my opinion. So again, it's like a savings account. So if you own a bunch of coins, a proof of stake coins, and you hold them in your wallet for an extended period of time, and the longer you do it, the more coins you'll receive, and you're going to receive a 5%, 10% sort of APR sort of situation, depending on the coin, and you will receive new coins essentially magically, and it will create and validate new coins on the block, and then you will receive those new coins in your wallet. So that eliminates all of the electricity usage and the hardware usage. You can just do it on a laptop. You can have a wallet sitting on a laptop, and it's no different than any other computer in that sense, and you don't really need a powerful computer to do that. So Bitcoin Dark is a proof of stake coin, and so is Neo. Now, there are a good number of coins that are both proof of stake and proof of work. One of those coins, I believe, is Dash Coin, and another one, and I really hate to actually mention it because I know it's a huge drama right now. One of them is Devor Coin, where you can actually mine that coin, and you can actually put it up for a proof of stake and receive new coins eventually. But again, I don't recommend Devor Coin. I was just giving an example. So I made this very, very awesome notepad for you guys here to read. And so proof of work is so essentially just complex algorithms completed by your hardware submitted solo or to a pool. Nobody really submits solo anymore, but it used to be a thing, and technically, physically, you can, but the likeliness of it happening is pretty low. Some people do mine solo, particularly on some altcoins, and if you just leave your computer running and running and running, and maybe a week or two goes by and you'll actually get that reward. But it's not really too particularly worth it, so everybody just mines on a pool. So proof of work requires a lot of electricity, and so Bitcoin mining takes about as much as about 100. I can't remember what exactly it is. It's 156 or 159 countries worth of electricity combined to make Bitcoin. So that's pretty bad. That's not good that it takes that much electricity to just simply make some currency. So high computing power hardware is expensive, and not if you're a millionaire, obviously, but to go out and buy a whole bunch of GPUs costs you a lot of money. Eventually, yeah, sure, they'll make you your money back, but most people just simply can't go out and buy an ASIC or an FPGA miner, or just go out and buy 6 or 7 1080 Ti's to sit there and mine, particularly since the price of 1080 Ti's are now about $1,000 to $1,300, considering everybody is reselling them for way more than what they paid. So possibility of miners moving their hardware to mine a different coin if the reward is better. So there's a loyalty factor in there. So nobody sits and mines Bitcoin anymore unless you have an ASIC miner. So everybody just goes to one altcoin. I remember for a while it was Mona Coin. That was a huge thing, and the difficulty rise, so everybody just hopped off that, hopped on a new coin. And that's not really good. That's not really good for any single coin, for just to have people hop onto your coin just to make profit, just to simply dump your coin later onto the next coin. That's not really doing anything. That's not creating a currency that's really useful. That's just people looking for a buck and moving on. So it's not really creating anything in the end. So with more and more coins getting released, miners' reward could come down. as the coin starts to become scarce to mine. Again, with the difficulty as that increases, people will just move on to the next coin, and then it sort of makes that coin that everybody was mining a little bit useless now that nobody's mining it and nobody's creating new coins out of it, and everybody just sort of moved on. So examples of that is Bitcoin, Ethereum 1.0, as Ethereum 2.0 will come out eventually. So I know there's no real thing as Ethereum 1.0. I guess you could consider that Ethereum Classic, but with the Ethereum 2.0 being coming out in 3 or 4 years, it's a different story. So Litecoin, Vertcoin, Monero, those are all proof of work coins. So you mine and you mine and you mine with your computer, and particularly if you have better hardware, you're going to get more coins. If you have less hardware, you're going to get less coins. It takes a lot of electricity. So proof of stake is validating and forging new blocks by simply holding on to your coins. So there's no need for expensive hardware. Any computer can validate. So you can just have your coins on a laptop. It could be the worst laptop in the world. Of course, as long as it runs the wallet that you are putting your coins into, which doesn't take much computing power to begin with. So pretty much any computer can validate and hold proof of stake coins. So it's energy efficient, and it won't consume high electricity as proof of work does. So it's consuming a little bit of electricity, of course, because you have to have your computer on, and we live in an electricity and technological world, of course, but there is no sitting there mining and using a tremendous amount of power with your computer. So, you know, if you have an 800-watt power supply and you have one GTX 1080 Ti, and it uses up to about 250 watts for a GTX 1080 Ti, and the key word is up to. So if you're just sitting around on your computer watching a YouTube video or just playing solitaire or something like that, it's not using nearly 800 watts of power, or 800 watts or 250 watts on your GTX 1080 Ti or your 800 watt PSU in general. It's not using much at all. But once you start mining, it basically uses 100% of your power, and it will start to use as much power as it possibly can. Now, one GTX 1080 Ti is not going to cause your computer to use 800 watts of power if you have that power supply, but it just goes to show that as soon as you start mining, your electricity consumption goes way up, and your bill will go up, and it is what it is, of global warming and all that stuff. And I know that's a topic for another video, but either way, uses a lot of electricity. Overall, not really that good. So more loyal validators. So as higher the stake the validators have for a long time, so more chances for the validator to be picked up for forging and earn transaction fees. So that essentially means, I know that was a little, I worded that a little wrong, but essentially, the longer you hold on to your coins, the more that you're going to be earning with your coins. So as soon as you send your coins, proof of stake coins, to a different wallet, that aging kicks in again. So it's essentially like having a savings account. And if your bank was like, if you hold on to your savings account for a year, we'll give you this much. If you hold it on for 2 years, we'll give you more, right? So that's proof of stake, essentially. And if you were to take your savings account out of that bank and put it into a different bank, or wallet in this case, that aging process is going to reset again, and you're going to receive less coins. So it's really good. It incentivizes people to hold on to that same coin and use that same coin for a long time, which really does create a real currency that people are holding on for a long time. So I'm a big fan of proof of stake, and I think it'll just really wipe out proof of work eventually. It just will. The electricity consumption cannot go on for too long, as you can see already. If you just Google or go to your local store, go to Craigslist, go to your local selling app like OfferUp or something like that. People are selling their graphics cards for like $1,300 when really a GTX 1080 Ti costs $700, $800 or so. So people are selling way higher, and the supply demand is getting ridiculous right now for GPUs. And anybody that's just, you know, maybe wants to buy a gaming computer is going to pay the price for that. And faster validations on a proof of stake, because people are all holding these coins, and these coins are using for validation, and nobody's computers. And of course, to hold on to those coins, you have to have your wallet, and therefore your the proof of stake is continuing. And with like say a Bitcoin wallet, you don't actually necessarily have to have the core wallet to and with the core wallet of Bitcoin, of course, you're validating transactions all over the network, and that takes a lot of bandwidth. So with proof of stake, you're going to have it on your wallet, and of course, it's going to take a lot of bandwidth to verify all those transactions. But at least you're gaining coins for that, and you don't have to sit there and mine and stress your computer's hardware out. And even when you're mining, a lot of times you can't use your computer too well. Depending on the algorithm that you're mining, because you can't watch a video or something like that because it starts to look choppy, particularly with, I've noticed it particularly with Lira 2, so Vertcoin and Monocoin, with that algorithm particularly, and I think also Blake also sort of cripples my computer once I start mining that as well. So it depends on what you're mining. So a couple of examples of proof of stake is Redcoin, Stratus, Navcoin, Neo, and Ethereum 2.0. And if you don't know what Ethereum 2.0 is, maybe I'll try to make a video on that. Unfortunately, the only reason why I haven't made a video on Ethereum 2.0 is because there's very, very, very little information out there on it. I can't remember exactly what his name is. Vitaly Buterin, I believe, the creator of Ethereum, held a conference, and he talked for about an hour or two in a video, and you can look that up pretty easy, about Ethereum 2.0 and all the problems that Ethereum 1.0 currently faces with security and speed and low fees, and he's trying to rectify all that with Ethereum 2.0, but it's much, much easier said than done. So in a few years, we will see Ethereum 2.0. So the Ethereum killer is Ethereum, and so once Ethereum 2.0 comes out, it's going to hard fork, and you should be left over with Ethereum 1, and then you'll also receive Ethereum 2.0, and Ethereum 2.0 will be a proof-of-stake coin. So it will be a totally different situation than Ethereum 1, and I think that's great. I'm just a huge fan of proof-of-stake. I feel that it's just so much better in every way to just not have to go out and buy all this hardware just to mine these coins. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you an idea of the difference of proof of work and proof of stake. And I believe that proof of stake is eventually going to be the future, just for the simple fact that not everybody in the world can just have all these GPUs or ASIC miners or FPGA miners. It just can't be done. The supply and demand, it cannot reach the 7 or 8 billion people that are on the planet. It just can't be done. So proof of stake is just the logical, reasonable, objective way to go about cryptocurrency in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.